Our next guest is Brian Forde. He's the senior advisor to the CTO of the U.S. So we'd like to hear what our government is helping us do with technology. So Brian, let's welcome Brian on stage.
This one? Okay, great. Well, hello everyone. Can we get another round of applause for the organizers of this event, Latino Startup Plant? They're amazing. You know, and for me, it's an honor to be up here. As a former Peace Corps volunteer and tech company founder in Nicaragua for 7 years, it feels good to be home around the Latino tech community as well. And it's really amazing to hear that over 300 Latinos got together for this conference. And what we're doing is the administration is trying to grow those numbers of Latinos, African Americans, women, and other underrepresented populations in the tech sector across the country. And one of the many reasons why the White House is working on tech inclusion is because the President's Council of Advisors for Science and Technology released a report recently that found that for the United States to maintain its global preeminence, we needed 1 million additional STEM undergraduates in the next 10 years. 1 million additional STEM undergraduates. And that's really not going to happen from the current pool. We need to expand the pool. We need to diversify the pool. We need to better tap into the incredible talent that exists in the Latino community, the African American community, women, and other underrepresented minorities across America to be able to reach that number. Now, the President has always believed that technology is an essential part of our growing economy, creating jobs, and remaining competitive with the rest of the world. We talk a lot about remaining competitive with the rest of the world, but what does that really mean? So I want to share a few numbers to put this in perspective. Across Asia, more than 21% of their students, according to Charles Vest, who's the current president of the National Academy of Engineering, 21% of students across Asia are graduating with engineering degrees. In Europe, it's 12%. In the US, it's 4.5%. To give you another perspective, 30 years ago, the United States, Japan, and even China educated the same amount of engineers each year, about 70,000. But in the US, it's slowly declined to 60,000. If you compare that with China, they've grown to 600,000 engineers a year that they're graduating. Which kind of reminds me of a quote from Thomas Friedman, which many of you might have heard. In China today, Bill Gates is Britney Spears, and while in America, Britney Spears is Britney Spears. We need the role models like you out there in the communities, building out those connections with the next set of students who are coming up to inspire to take your role in the future tech economy. Now, some people may ask why the US has maintained its competitive edge, and quite frankly, it's because we've been able to attract top talent from around the world. And that's why, in addition to tech inclusion, the President supports an immigration bill that recently passed in the Senate. Now, including in that bill are two interesting visa and green card options that I wanted to share with you that you may be interested in. One is a temporary non-immigrant pathway, which gives a 3-year non-immigrant visa for individuals who secure $100,000 in funding from accredited investors or have $250,000 in revenue and create 3 jobs with no caps. There's no limits on the amount of those visas. The other pathway is the green card permanent pathway for immigrant entrepreneurs who become eligible for a green card if he or she raises $500,000 in investment and creates 5 jobs. The annual cap's about 10,000. And immigration just isn't personal to this president, who's the son of an immigrant. You can also see it in the tech economy. Some of our greatest tech leaders are immigrants or sons and daughters of immigrants. My mother came here when she was 19 with $60 in her pocket. The United States Chief Technology Officer, the assistant to the president for technology, is the son of 2 Korean immigrants. Both on the staff level and in the technology sector, we definitely see the need for immigration reform and how it can impact the technology community. Now, diversity in our tech sector is important. How many of you guys have heard of Bill Wolf? No one? One person? One person. He's got a few of my favorite quotes. He's an incredible professor, and he said, engineering is a profoundly creative profession, which often isn't talked about. Some people don't talk about engineering as a creative profession. And he said, if we don't have a diverse workforce, we limit the set of life experiences that an engineering team will have, and consequently will limit the creativity that could be brought to bear. And really, as a creative problem solvers, we're trying to find the most simple and the most elegant solution. And creativity is a result of making unexpected connections between things you already know. As a consequence, one's creativity is bounded by what you know and hence your life experiences. And so my favorite Bill Wolf quote is, every time we approach a design problem with a pale male team, we run the risk of not finding the most elegant solution. Just say that one more time. Every time we approach a design problem with a pale male team, we run the risk of not finding the most elegant solution. The importance of diversity, which you know handedly, is so incredibly important to coming up with some of the best solutions out there. And it's something that may not be as communicated to the tech sector, to tech entrepreneurs, as we should. And it's something that we can continue to share with them. So in addition to immigration reform, it's also why we launched the White House Tech Inclusion Initiative in August. Jesse from the Latino Startup Alliance was there. And we also brought together other 50 innovators from around the tech community, educators, folks like Ben Jealous, folks like Mitch Caper, who I hear spoke yesterday. And together at this roundtable that was co-hosted by the Caper Center for Social Innovation, we did an all-day brainstorm that came up with over 30 ideas. We narrowed them down to 5, and we challenged the folks in the room to take those 5 and turn them into reality in 90 to 120 days. Sure enough, after a lot of hard work from many dedicated individuals, we hosted the White House Tech Inclusion Summit earlier this year in January, where we launched 5 initiatives. What was amazing is that we had over 200 folks attend this. In fact, it was so packed that we actually couldn't all fit them in the White House South Court auditorium. We actually had to run an overflow room because we had too many people that wanted to attend this event. I think it speaks to the need and the interest in diversity in the technology sector. I briefly wanted to describe a few of the initiatives, give you a status update, to let you know how we're trying to identify and create 1 million additional STEM undergraduates in the next 10 years. So the first was Accelerate Local Communities, which was a really interesting initiative. So this community-focused initiative launched a process with local mayors to host local roundtables with business owners, with educators, and local innovators to identify ways with mayors that they can increase the pipeline of diverse workforce, starting from elementary school to junior high to high school, to continue on to university, to create some of the most diverse workforce in their city. Cities like Philadelphia signed on, Cambridge, Chicago, Portland. And we hope that other mayors will continue to adopt this innovative way of engaging stakeholders to continue the dialogue. Another one was US 2020. And their goal was actually really simple. It's focus on mentorship. As you guys know, I don't know, how many of you guys had effective mentors that have led you to where you are today? Most of the room. I know I did as well. And when the President's Council of Advisors for Science and Technology did their report, they found that mentorship was one of the key tools to be able to reduce the dropout rate. Because it turns out there's a huge dropout rate for folks who are going for STEM degrees. And so this simple program, US 2020, is working with the tech sector to get 20% of their tech workforce to mentor for 20 hours a year, with community programs and nonprofits in their community to help give them a person to connect them into the industry that they may not be connected with, to help lower the dropout rates. And they just did an amazing contest where they offered $1 million of both financial and in-kind support for 5 cities to be eligible to get that money to run their programs in their city. All of this came out of this small little tech inclusion roundtable that we do with 50 folks. Another initiative was the HBCU Startup and Innovation Initiative, so historically black colleges and universities. And the goal there was to bring the startup culture, startup weekends, and other types of hackathons onto HBCU campuses. And most recently, actually about a month ago, the United Negro College Fund hosted the HBCU Innovator Summit, very similar to this, where they brought together HBCU presidents to talk about ways that they can do that on their campuses. And most importantly, we're here today with the Latino Startup Alliance and your Innovation Summit. Jesse headed up one of the initiatives, and we're glad to see this come to reality because he's been talking about it for the last year since I've met him. And we're excited to see this event happen today and yesterday. And most importantly, we'd love to connect with you. So if you guys go to whitehouse.gov/techinclusion, if you guys want a little hack, we have a short URL. It's wh.gov. So whitehouse.gov/techinclusion. You can go on there and just add your email address, and we'll keep you updated on the latest initiatives. I invite you to future tech inclusion events that we host at the White House or here in the Bay Area or anywhere across America. But also, I'd love to see if you guys are running initiatives. We'd love to hear your advice, hear your feedback. What do we need to do in the Latino community to continue to promote diversity in the technology workforce? And so I'll just give you my email. It's just B as in boy, F-O-R-D-E. B as in boy, F-O-R-D-E, at ostp.eop.gov. EOP, Executive Office of the President, OSTP, Office of Science and Technology Policy, B. Forde, Brian Forde. So would love to hear all of your feedback, would love to hear about your initiatives, would love to work with you going forward so that we can continue to increase the amount of Latinos in technology. So thank you guys very much.